Well, hi guys and girls, Emma again. Welcome back to the spare room. Welcome back to another episode in this little indicator holder build. Cut a bit of stock, which is 50 by 6 steel, just mild steel, cold drawn as the instructions say. And it's time to make this part. We've really only got 3 parts to make. There's these 2 little swivel pins, and I want to leave them to last, because I've turned the compound round to machine the 60-degree angle, and I don't really want to do that until the last operation. Everything else is parallel. So we're going to make this next. The other thing is that these two pins here need to be a good fit in these 2 holes. So I've cut a bit of steel, and this is an interesting little exercise to make this, because it was drawn by a German, and we all know what that means. It means that it's probably more complicated than it needs to be, and it's fun to make it how it is. It probably doesn't matter very much whether it is exactly how the drawing is, but because these 2 here at 58mm centres, it means that they're not on the centre line. The centre line of this radius here is down here, but this is up here on this drawing, probably 15mm, so 6 or 7mm further up is where these 2 holes are. That makes it a little bit complicated to make, as some of you have probably already worked out. So I've blued this up. And scribe the outside and the inside lines. Off the centre. And when I look at that, I probably had a piece of bronze there that would have worked just as well for this, and it would have been very, very nice to make it out of that, but I didn't. So here we go. If we carefully mark the centre there for the first one. This needs to be 58mm between here and here, so it's probably as easy as setting a pair of dividers up to 58mm, which is there, putting them on there and scribing a line there, and that'll give us the other mark on the other side. That's how I did that. And what we've got is the 3 marks. Now we can drill these. They're not lined up to anything in particular, but what we could do is set this up in the mill and drill those 2 in line, and then find that one. Probably it's not that critical. If we drilled these say 4.9mm, this one and this one, and we put a little centre drill in this one for a centre, then I think we should be able to set this up and machine the inside and the outside in the right spot, and then it'd be a fairly easy thing to make a couple of filing buttons for each end and file the ends around, or sand the ends around, and have the part, which isn't actually very big. So I'm going to go over the drill press. I'm going to drill these Probably going to drill them out later. So if I drill these 4mm for a 4mm bolt to hold it down, I think that should be heap strong enough. Now I'm going to drill them 5mm and put a 5mm bolt in them to hold them down. And run a little centre drill into this one so that we've got a mark to set this up on centre when we need to in the lathe. And then we'll come back and we'll have a bit of a look at what we got. So we've got 3 seemingly random holes in here. 2 at nice 5mm. I've run a reamer through them in the drill press as well. And I've put a centre drill in this one, which is the centre piece, or the centre of the actual radius. What I'd like to do, I think, got this little faceplate that John Creasy made me. And thinking about it the other night, or a week or so back, I thought, well, all I need to do is make a couple of standoffs to put these in here and bolt them in and set this up this way on centre, and we're away. However, that doesn't quite work like that, because we can't really do that. We can't. If we put these as our centre line, this is offset. So I had another think about it, and what I've come up with is this. I'm going to make a jig, probably a button to go in here that bolts with it, with a shoulder on it that comes through the back that we can put a bolt in just to support that one. It wants a bit of space behind it so we can run the tool past without running into the faceplate. And if we set this one up like this, we should be able to adjust this one to match. And if we make a spacer button to go under the back here, all we've got to do is clamp that down here, machine the outside, transfer our clamp round here to the end, or to the inside, and machine the outside. So that's probably the easiest and quickest way to do that, I think. So I'm going to get in, I'm going to make some parts for this, and we'll come back and we'll have a look what I've got when we're done. So this is what I've got. We've got our plate here. It's not on centre yet, but it will be. Well, I've got a bolt through here with a nut on the back, right? We can tighten that right down, like so. We've got a bolt through here into this spacer, which is a piece of the same stuff as this, and we can tighten that one right down too. Now, because these aren't on the centre line, I've put another piece, another hole here with a nut and a bolt from the back, so we can tighten that one down, and that should be rock solid. All we've got to do is set it up on centre to this one and bore the middle and machine the outside. Probably we're going to machine the outside first and then bore the middle. But let's see what we can do. So that's probably just as simple as setting your centre in there and tightening everything up. We could probably check it and get it a little bit closer, I think, so I might just make sure there's no run out in it, because it's very difficult to tell with just a centre like that. It's hard. I don't really want to take that for granted. So now this is going to be an interrupted cut, so take it steady. hand will touch the camera pole. It would be a smart idea at some point for me to cut 50mm off the end of this camera pole, and then that wouldn't happen every video, because it kind of does. Anyway, we're back down to size there. It looks pretty good actually. That's machined that to, it should be anyway. To exactly 70mm. So next job will be to bore this out, and I'm probably just going to run a drill through there first. A annular cutter would be fantastic for this job. I have a couple of them that I bought over the last couple of years, but I've never ever used them because, not on this machine, because I don't have an adapter. So that's another job that would be awesome to have for jobs like this. So there we go. That's machined down. I've talked to a couple of people in the last day or so that have had trouble with this, or had worried a bit about doing it. And I've sacrificed these 2 bits of plate just to clean that up. But I haven't lost any bolts. But I've got a fairly reasonable result there, I think. I'm really a bit happy with that. I'm going to take this off and clean it up, and we'll have a look at it over on the bench and see what's next. So we're getting fairly close now. There's still these 2 studs to make, and I've just got bolts in there for a start. This is what we've got. They seem pretty close to centre. This one might be a fraction off, but it's not going to worry anything too much. These need to be cleaned up on the ends, and I'm just going to make a filing button for that. And if we use a fence, I only need 1 filing button for the sander. If we're using a file, probably need both, but I'm going to use the belt. I'm going to use the belt sander, so the linisher. So I'm probably just going to make a button that fits in this hole and is the right diameter, and that way I can just sit him on the fence and clean him up there and there, and that job's going to be done. So I got on and got a bit of this done. Made a little filing button just out of 01, a piece that I had here. Just turned it down to the 2 diameters like that. Soaked him at 800 for 15-20 minutes. Now I was going to take some video of this, but things happened and the video didn't, and I apologise for that. But that's basically just left hard. It's not tempered or anything, and quenched out in oil. And I use that to clean these up. Each end. Now, a bit of a tip. If you're a little bit concerned that these might not be exactly in the middle for you, and mine turned out pretty good actually, I'm really pleased with them. But if you are a little bit concerned they might not be exactly in the middle, make your filing button a bit bigger diameter and just put a radius on the end rather than rounding them right off, and it'll still look amazing. So there's a tip. Apart from that, I've given this a good clean up. It still needs a bit more. This flat plate tends to have mill scale on it fairly deep, and you can just keep working at it and keep working at it and working at it until it's shiny. But sometimes it's deeper than you think. I have to finish this somehow. I'm not sure yet. We'll leave that to the last video just to finish all this up. And all those bits have pretty much finished. We've still got to make the 2 studs which go in these holes, and they've got a seat for here and a thread for these. Then we can finish it. So another video to make the studs, and another video to just for general metal finishing and getting it to look really, really nice. And we're done here. So thanks for watching. Thanks for liking and subscribing if you're watching this on YouTube. If you're watching on Patreon, you guys know who you are, and a huge thanks for you guys. Thanks for watching, taking interest in this project, and hopefully some of you will make one of these that's pretty good. Anyway, that's the end of this video. More soon, guys and girls, and be kind to each other.